Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, we're gonna do a review from Magnus Carlsen's games. Actually, it's gonna be two games, but the first one is really quick, really short, and yet many lessons to be learned. So let's start with this game. We're gonna get e4, d6, d4, just taking over the center, right? We always want to control the center. One of the principles of chess, control these four squares. Knight to f6, knight to c3, e5, knight f3, knight b to d7, and then this move, rook g1. Okay, rook g1 is preparing for g4, maybe g5. This is really simple and yet really powerful. Then g6, g4, bishop to g7, completely ignoring this pawn. Okay, and now g5. What we're going to do is play on this side of the board. We already have the rook lined up and we're choosing where to attack, right? Knight to h5. So one of the principles of chess is you don't really need to cross into enemy territory. You can keep your pieces here from the start and everything will be fine. However, Magnus Carlsen knows how and when to do this. First off, this piece, sometimes we just cross, I'm gonna cross into enemy territory like this. Yeah, but that knight looks like it's hanging. Then here, we're actually protecting the pawn with 3 pieces. Okay, this is really clever. Now, knight to h5, bishop to a3, castle. Okay, queen d2, preparing to castle long. Rook to e8, castle. And a6 is played. Before we go to a6, how many times, if we count the number of squares Magnus is fighting for, is 11. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's 11 times these 4 squares. He's fighting for these 4 squares 11 times, right? So if we count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, stay with me. 8, 9 with the rook, 10 and 11. You can count this at home. It was kind of messy my counting here. And you can also do it from black. It's gonna be 9. You don't have to believe me, you can count. But yeah, through the bishop as well, and through the rook and through the queen, it's gonna be 9. So they have to fight for the center. The best move in the position, c6. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm fighting for this square. No, they play a6. This is too passive. What are we doing with a6? Now, d takes on e5. This consolidation helps white because we have better pieces, better placed pieces. Now, knight takes on e5 with just 3 knights. Bishop takes on e5 and knight to d5. Okay. The computer is saying we don't really have to cross into enemy's territory. This will be a mistake. This is classified as a mistake. For a simple reason, this knight can be kicked out easily, right, after c6. However, Magnus has something in mind. So, bishop e6 is played. Now we can push f4. Bishop takes on d5. Okay, this bishop trade benefits us because now we have the bishop pair, and we have a clear plan. Sorry, we're gonna push the pawns on this side of the board. I'm sick, so f5. Then again, the principle, we don't have to cross, but we can do it with the pawns. And we also have a lot of pieces supporting these pawns, right? We have the bishop. This bishop can come in here. We can also push h4. So the plans are really easy. Now, queen e7, bishop f2. Bishop f2 is funny, but it's supposed to be a mistake. Best move, you have to play for the open file. You have to fight for the open file right away with rook e1. But bishop f2 doesn't lose the game either. So g takes on g5, then rook e1. Yeah, fighting for the open file right away. And here, what would you play with black? You have to centralize your pieces, right? Bishop to e5 is the best move, getting almost like a semi-outpost. You have mathematically better position. You're covering 4 diagonals as opposed to just 1, right? That didn't happen in the game. Queen to d7 was played. Now bishop to e2, hitting the knight. And where do you put the knight with black? Knight to g7, this bishop is out of the game, right? So Magnus knows how to play using the bishop pair, using the long diagonals. In this case, this, and yet he is also restricting the enemy's pieces. So very important in chess. If you can restrict the diagonals of the bishops, then you're winning. h4, okay. Queen to a4. Also h4. Every time we have good pieces, like I say, then we have to push p. Push the pawn, right? Not your p. So, okay, queen a4. And then king b1. We have to be aware of this. They're crossing into our territory. So we have to be aware of this threat. f4. h5. Rook to e5. Okay, g6. g6, we keep weakening the pawns around the king. It's kind of the only defense. This knight is not really defending. This bishop is not defending the king either. It's only these 2 pawns. They are really weak. Now, we get this consolidation of the pawns with 3 pawns. h5. b3 is playing, kicking out the queen. We don't need the geometry of chess to think, oh, this pawn is in our territory. We have to get rid of it. Yeah, we still take. Rook to f8, hitting the queen. And after queen h6, black resign. They understand this is too much, right? This is coming. We have the bishops, the bishop pair. We have the open files. So yeah, there's nothing to be done for black. And they resign on the spot. Okay, if anything, Magnus Carlsen is a master on playing against bad pieces and using his bishops. So we're gonna do this review where bishop and pawns coordinate perfectly. e4, e5, knight f3. We're gonna get a common position. This is the Ruy Lopez. a6, bishop to a4. Okay, this is d6, c4, bishop to g4, knight to c3. Developing the knights. h3, kicking out the bishop. Now this is weakening because now we can just take back with the queen. 3 of our pieces have been developed and we are good. Knight to d7, knight to e2, protecting this square, d4, right? Also fighting for the center. Now g6, h4. I think this is for me the best. It's very educational. h4. This is actually an inaccuracy if you analyze with the computer, but this is Magnus Carlsen. Why do you think he did this? First, to provoke h5. I think he's doing this to provoke h5, and later put the bishop here. And he doesn't have to worry about a potential bishop to g4, for example, because the bishop had been traded. So he doesn't have the light square bishop. Why would you, wouldn't you play this, right? We put the h3 pawn to prevent this bishop move or to kick it out. Okay, then let's continue. h5, d3, and knight to c5. Look at these pawns. Every pawn is in our territory. However, they're on the edge. These 3 pawns are on the edge. They cannot push. They don't have any pawn pushes. Then bishop to 6. Bishop takes on c6. To me, this is also brilliant. It's really simple, right? It's like, okay, we're just trading a bishop. Yeah, but look at the pawns. All the pawns are in light squares. He doesn't need the light square bishop. And observe black's pawn formation. All the pawns are, especially these 3, all the pawns are in dark squares, same as the bishop. So how do you move this bishop around if your own pawns are on the way? Right, so it's very, very good strategy. d4, it takes on d4, knight takes on d4. And like I always say, yeah, cross into enemy's territory, especially with a piece, not with a pawn, if you have a very good reason for that. Bishop to g7, we have a very good reason here. I'm gonna win a pawn. This pawn is free. I'm gonna take it. Okay, queen d7 is played, e5, protecting the knight. And this is also a good diagonal for the queen, looking at the rook. Queen to g4. We don't really want to trade queens. That will help black. So instead, centralize your pieces, right? You want to centralize your pieces. Also, if you cannot tell who is better in a position, just look at how many pieces in the center are placed. Oh, okay, white is winning. Yeah, they have more pieces in the center. Not always, but it's a good sign. Castle, castle, queen takes on h4. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the pawn. Put the bishop here, remember? We were provoking h5, and now they have this pawn structure where we can play around with our bishop. Okay, queen a4. Again, you don't want to trade queens here. And then bishop to e7, rook f to c8. We're gonna win this pawn. Rook a to e1, queen takes on d5. All right, knight to d3. We're gonna, again, our pieces are centralized. We're gonna win this pawn. Now, knight to f4, winning the pawn. And after a few moves, black resigned. Black was Gukesh. Bishop to f8. Yeah, we have infiltrated in the position. We have 3 pieces on the side of the board. We can bring the rook forward. Knight to e6, rook to c6. We don't want to trade there. Knight to c8. Get rid of the bishop. We bring the other rook. And yeah, this is completely lost. Black resign on the spot. Because let's say this happens. This is mate in 2. So this cannot happen. And yeah, they resigned. Gukesh resigned because there was nothing to be done. And yeah, beautiful strategy with the bishops. Okay guys, thanks for watching this short video. I'm sick. I hope my voice wasn't more annoying than normal. And check out my exclusive content. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.